Wouldn't it be cool if your probe-style meat thermometer didn't have wires to mess with? Let's take a look at a new thermometer from ThermoPro. If you do any indirect heat or smoker cooking, you already know how important monitoring the temperature of your meat is to your overall success. Traditionally, that has meant using a wired probe meat thermometer connected to a display outside the grill or smoker. These displays can be used either within the wire's length at the grill or connect wirelessly to a primary display, allowing you to take the display inside while monitoring the cook. The ThermoPro TempSpike removes all the wires, allowing you to monitor the cook via a Bluetooth sending unit between the probe and the smartphone. The unit can provide the data signal up to 500 feet away from the probe if you believe the spec sheet. The other useful feature of this wireless probe is that it really is two probes in one. The first function measures the temperature of the food, and the second function measures the temperature of the air around the food. This ambient air temperature monitoring is very important when smoking or doing other low and slow cooks. As we'll see in a minute, the temperature is reported on a companion app on your smartphone. The app allows you to set temperature alarms and limits to help you monitor your cook, as well as some interesting displays to track progress and results. The sending unit also charges the probe when it's stored in its cradle. The sending unit's battery is charged via a USB-C cable that comes with the thermometer. Let's take a look at what you'll get and how you'll connect things up. Okay, so here is the box that the little TempSpike comes in. It's kind of a small box, but it holds everything it needs. So let's take a look at what you're going to find inside. First thing you're going to get is the user guide, and it's just a fold-out paper that lists some of the things that are happening, the diagrams of what does what, how to know when it's charging, how to know when it needs to charge, and then a little brief description on connecting it to the phone app, along with the QR codes for both the iOS or Android version of the app itself. Additionally, within the case comes a USB-C charging cable, and you can see that right here. It charges on the side of the booster, and then the booster charges the probe itself. So there's the cable. Now for the meat of the thing, it comes in this very nice hard plastic case with a plastic cover on it. So we'll take the cover off here. And then on this side, you can see an access point for the USB-C charge cable. And then a couple of controls here on the front. So there's an LED to show the status of the probe charge. I've charged this, so it's off. When it's charging, it'll flash slow, and when it's low, it'll flash fast. This is for the booster itself, and the booster has the battery in it, which is going to charge the probe, and those light flashes are going to be the same. This indicates that it's connected to Bluetooth, and then the little S key right here is a way for you to pair the thing, although we ought not to have to do that since it comes paired already. So let's take a look at the probe. It comes out here, and one of the things that's interesting about it is it's kind of thick, and so it's not very long, but it is kind of thick. This end is the temperature sensor for the food, and then this end here, where you see the two little openings, is the temperature sensor for the ambient air. And then where this little sticker is, that I will take off here afterwards, there's a little ring right there. And we want to make sure that when you're using this, that you press the probe into the food that you're measuring the temperature, at least to that ring, if not just a little bit past it. That'll ensure that, you know, a hot ambient air up here doesn't affect the reading of the temperature probe down here by, kind of following the metal down. So you're going to want to make sure that you insert the probe deeply enough that that ring is covered by the meat, or whatever else it is that you're measuring. So let's take a look next at the app. So we're just going to follow along here with the instructions. And so it says to carefully charge the device, and I've got that all charged up. I'm going to scroll down here and see that my Bluetooth is on. I'm going to then press add the device. I'm going to take the probe out of the cradle. Here's my TempSpike device is identified there, so I'm going to press the plus and add that device. And so now I can see that it is ready to go, and it is reading the the ambient air temperature here, pretty close here to what is in the room. So I can go in here and add this. Now I've moved the TempSpike main display up, and so let's take just a little quick look at what we've got here. We can set an alarm. We can set the vibration. I'm going to set the vibration off. If I hit meat up here, I get a whole list of different things: beef, fish, pork, all of that kind of stuff is listed. Plus, I can add my own specialty readings here using the plus sign. So I'm going to be cooking chicken first. So let's look at poultry. And that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to come back. Gives me a little diagram to make sure I remember to put that little ring into the meat itself so that I get a good reading. Press continue. Then it tells me to set the temperature probe in the meat, and then the temperature booster within about a foot of the grill. So I don't want to get it too close to and get it hot, but I do want it close enough for the Bluetooth to work between these two devices. And so you can see I've got poultry. It's reading 82 degrees down there. And what I think is kind of cool is this estimated time left. So after it works for a while, it compares what's going on and will kind of guesstimate the time it'll take to get from the temperature that the food is to the temperature that you have set. In this case, 165 degrees in that poultry profile. And then the ambient temperature here. Now I can also set alarms here on the ambient temperature, and this becomes important to me like when I'm doing a smoke. If I get a pellet jam or something else happens and the temperature starts going down on one of my long slow cooks, if that happens, I'm aware of it. And then here with the ambient temperature, I can get a high and low, and I can make those settings happen, and they're just on a little scroll wheel right here. I could set it, like here at a 180 or 175. And that way, if it gets below that, then it'll give me an alarm. And then here, my high temperature, if it starts to run away on me, and then I'm going to be able to get an alarm if my smoker has gotten too high, or my grill if I'm using an offset kind of cooking technique. So those are the alarms right there. You can set it to either go make a sound or vibrate or both. And so that's basically it here. Now, if we go back up here, we can see that we can set a timer. And so you can set the timer for the number of hours, minutes, and seconds. And so that's handy. You press the start button to get that to go. And then you can also get a graph, which I think is going to be fun. So when I do my next cook, I'll open this up to the graphing so that you can see what that looks like, and it'll give me an idea then of how the temperature is changing, not only within the smoker itself, but then it'll also then give me an idea of what the temperature of the meat is. So that's pretty much the main portions of the app itself. And then at the very top, you can see that my Bluetooth connection from the probe to the extension is active. The little B Bluetooth icon is there, and then you can see that it's active between the sender unit here and my phone. The connection basically goes from the probe to the sender, and then from the sender to the app, and then the magic happens here in the app. Now, with the tour out of the way, let's take a look at the TempSpike in action. Thermometer. It's got a magnetic back, so it just stuck to the lid there of my smoker. And then this is the probe, and I'm going to put it into the little ring. It's a little thicker than the typical probe, but it's also a little bit shorter. So I'm going to get that in the breast, keep it away from the cavity and the bones, get it in there past that little black ring on the thermometer, and then I'll go to my phone, set up the app. So in this shot you can see that my chicken is coming up to speed, so the ambient air temperature is still a little off, but I think it may be because of the orientation of the chicken and the fact that the sensor is up near the lid. But we'll see. You'll also notice that the estimated time has started to fill in. And if we look at our chart, we can see that we've been making some progress on the temp. That last little bit of a higher curve right there is because of the change of the position of the probe. So we'll see how all this hangs together. So here we're going to do a range test of the TempSpike, and I've measured out about 500 feet behind me, and I'm going to take a walk down there while holding the app here in my phone. And I'm thinking that I'm going to go further than the range of my little wireless microphone here. So if you hear the sound change a little bit, it's because I'll be transferring to the audio that my phone is recording as I do a screen record of this. So you can see it's kind of a hot day here. It's about 10:30, it's 105 outside, and I've got the temp probe on the ground in the grass, so it's a few degrees cooler. So let me start walking toward the end, and we'll see when I lose my connection here. I'm about 100 feet right now, so we'll keep going on to 200. This is about 200 feet. Hopefully I'm still in frame. 200 feet here, and I still have a good connection. This is about 300 feet from the camera. I've still got a good connection right here. And keep in mind, this is perfect conditions. There's nothing between me and the sending unit, so no walls and that kind of thing. Let's go down to 400 feet. Okay, here I am down here at 400 feet. I still have a good connection. And 500 feet should be just on the other side of the street behind me. So let's go over there and see if we stay connected. Okay, so here I am across the street. Hopefully you can still see me, and I still have a good connection. So I'm between 400 and 500 feet right now. We'll go a little bit further. I might be behind the sign. I can barely see my camera. And I'm still connected. So I'm not going to go any further than this. We're going to say that the claim of 500 feet in perfect conditions is in fact a pretty realistic and reliable claim. Going into your house, going into your basement, that kind of thing isn't going to be the same, I'm sure. But if you had a lake house and your cook was up by the cabin and you wanted to go down by the lake shore and fish, it's going to stay connected. So there you have it. It looks like the ThermoPro TempSpike wireless thermometer is a keeper. The ambient air temperature reading appeared a bit low, so be aware of that and use a wired thermometer to compare it with, just to make sure. The internal probe temperature was right on with my instant read thermometer. As you saw with the range test, the outdoor range from the sending unit is pretty impressive. I'll be sure to do an update if my opinion changes, but for now, I'm pretty impressed. Thanks for watching, and go do some easy backyard cooking.